The game starts off in a land called Skyloft, which is a series of islands kind of floating up in the sky. And the people of Skyloft have a special connection to these birds, rather large birds that perhaps you saw the sculptures of at E3. They soar around through the skies, and everyone kind of has a connection to their own bird. And the game starts off with essentially the people of Skyloft. To them, the world is the land above the clouds. The birds never dive down below the clouds, and as far as they know, there is no land beneath. They've never been down there. Nobody knows what's there. But after a kind of certain series of events at the beginning of the game, Zelda ends up falling down below the clouds, and Link has to go down to kind of try to find her and see what's happened to her. And that's what really sets up the overarching adventure. And there's actually, as you play through the game, a fair amount of kind of mystery in terms of what's really happening down below, what's happened to Zelda. You're kind of continually pursuing after her, but you don't understand why you can never quite catch up to her. We've seen with a lot of other Zelda games, anybody that's been playing the series for a long period of time they're going to be able to find kind of those touch points that will connect back to some of the other games. But what's great about this game is that it kind of, because it serves as this very kind of early story, it's a great place for people who've never played the series before to be able to come in and also experience Zelda for the first time. This is still undergoing localization. So Fi is kind of the current tentative name, but she definitely you'll certainly, she's very effeminate and is female, but she's not the sword per se, but is kind of the spirit that is housed in the sword, and she does guide Link along the adventure, and it kind of helps him out and gives him information as he goes along. He's probably one of the creepier villains to have appeared in a Zelda game up until now. But you know, Girahim, he is kind of this mysterious figure, and when you're playing through the game, as you're kind of getting into that dungeon, you would have probably a little kind of hint or notion that there's somebody who's following you, and you're not sure why. But then you have the encounter with Girahim, which you see in the E3 demo, and that's the first time that Link actually comes across him and encounters him. But I mean, it's kind of part of this whole early mystery of the game, where you're not really clear exactly who he is or why he's after Zelda, other than it's not for very good intents. And so Link and Girahim meet in the room that you see in the E3 demo. It is the first time that you see him, but probably not the last. Well, the Goron was kind of the first little sneak peek since E3, and we wanted to obviously show something that the Zelda fan who's been playing the game for a long time is going to get excited about. What I really like about the game is that there's a lot of new races, and we showed some of those in, I think, the trailer at E3, but there's more beyond that. And so the game, I think, really does a great job of finding a way of blending some of the traditional elements while still trying to break the mold and introduce new ideas to the Zelda universe. Players will certainly get to go to some familiar places, but as to whether or not that's Hyrule or not Hyrule is something that will be explained over the course of the game.